Yeah, this is definitely a bigger size SUV, but turn-in is great. It doesn't feel all that big, so that's definitely a huge plus. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Grand Cherokee L. Check out the inventory link below. Let's get into the video. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 293 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Summit. First off, I think this is perfect in the silver color because you've got a nice contrast between the lighter and the darker elements. But starting off with the lights, we've got these full LED lights. You've got the reflector lights with the LED accent light. We've got Jeep's signature grille, and just look at the beautiful coloration right there. Just the polished look is amazing. We've got parking sensors here on the front, and then notice how they blacked out this bottom portion, which again creates nice contrast with the rest of the Grand Cherokee. But that's everything for the front. Now coming on the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped around 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then notice the spoke design on these wheels is pretty intricate, definitely love it. And again, fits nicely with the Summit package. Now, aside from that, notice that we've got these beautiful body painted fender flares. The mirror has been blacked out, but it has this nice chrome accenting that kind of dissects it and then goes all around the rest of the window. And then notice how it kind of like splits it in half, so like you have the black roof, but then you've got like the silver down below. I don't know, I think that looks really good. And then the fact that they did the pillars in the roof in black, I think also looks fantastic. Now let's pop here into the back of the Grand Cherokee L. So notice that we've got this for the rear hatch. And then over here, we actually have controls to raise and lower the seats. Well, not all of them. So the second row, you can just lower them. The third row, however, you can raise and lower via those controls. And then we've got a 12-volt right next to it. And then you guys can see the rest of the storage space down here. And, well, that's all for the back. So now let's finish things up here in the rear. So we've got these beautiful LED lights. They wrap around to the side of the Grand Cherokee L. We've got our Summit badge. We've got the L and 4x4 badge over there. Parking sensors along the bottom. And then I love how they've integrated these covers here with the exhaust tips. I think it looks really nice aesthetically. And yeah, other than that, that's everything for the back. So here's a door panel in the rear. First off, we've got this beautiful wood trim, and then notice we got the quilted design with the leather, really nice leather trim down below. We do have a sunshade for the kitties there on the back, and then we've got this for the windows. Notice we do have automatic windows here for the rear, and then here are the seats. They do recline, and just look at the design. Just absolutely gorgeous here with the rear seats. And let's pop in. You can see tons of leg room. And then here is the climate zone for the rear. You can control it back here. We do have heated seats here for the second row, and then some USBs, and then a full outlet. And then you guys can see I'm about 6 foot. Headroom is fantastic back here. And then even the very back seats still have that beautiful quilted design on them. Just looks absolutely fantastic. And let's head to the front. Now here's a door panel at the front. So again, we've got the beautiful wood trim that goes all across. We've got our memory seats right here. And then notice we've got, again, that beautiful quilted design that goes throughout, and then the soft touch leather down below. All of your regular window controls, the mirror adjustments, all of it just looks really nice. And the actuation on the controls is actually really nice as well. And then here are the front seats, which will put that headrest forward a little bit. But notice, again, we've got the Summit logo, beautiful perforated leather, quilted design here on the side, and then you can see the controls there. Everything looks really nice. There's your pedal layout. We've got the light control just up above, and then even more wood trim and leather here on the side. Just looks fantastic. Steering wheel is automatically adjustable, and there's one more look before we pop in. Now here's the steering wheel in the Grand Cherokee Summit. We've got beautiful leather wrapped around the steering wheel, and then you've got nice contrasted stitching there in the center portion. And then aside from that, notice we've got beautiful wood trim here on the bottom portion, and then even the airbag cover itself has beautiful stitching and leather on it. Controls for the center stack. We have our cruise control over here. It does have the adaptive system. Really nice paddles here. And then you've got little stock for the turn signal, and then we've got the windshield wiper stock on the other side. And well, that's all for the steering wheel. Now here is the digital gauge cluster in the Grand Cherokee L. Looks absolutely fantastic. So you've got the speed over on the right side, over on the left side, you've got the RPMs, and then notice that you do have that center stack. You can scroll through a couple different menus. Notice that you can go through like the media, for example, but basically gives you just different bits of information on the vehicle itself. And I just love the overall animation. It looks fantastic there in the center, but yeah, that's pretty much everything for that little center stack. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we've got nice controls here at the top for the auto stop start, the lane departure, the stability control, and then the hazard lights, parking sensors, and then the parking assistance. And then coming down to the infotainment system itself, first off, let's go over the camera aspect. We've got this full 360 view at the top, and then notice you have camera views out every single angle here. And then you can just go to regular backup camera if you want, and then notice you can zoom in there, or you can have a full view here on the front. Notice it has little trajectory lines, definitely nice. But yeah, really good from a camera system perspective. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is fantastic. I love the overall design of the infotainment system, and it's just really easy to use. You've got the nice shortcut buttons there at the bottom, and then just notice that whatever you want, you can just go to it, and it's just really easy. Now, the best part about the Summit is the fact that, yes, it does have massaging seats. So we're going to set this to waterfall and then high, and notice that, yeah, it's just cool, but you have all these different modes you can do for the passenger and for the driver. I think that's just really cool, and that's all for the infotainment system. Now, before we continue on, that button right there above the memory seats, that's for the massaging seats. Coming over here, we've got our climate controls. Again, you've got the 2 zones for the front, and then you have the climate for the rear, and you can lock out the rear climate if you want. Heated, cooled seats here for the front, which, by the way, we're going to throw on those cooled seats because it is pretty toasty today. And then underneath this, you just have to kind of press it down. We've got a wireless phone charger. We've got a bunch of USBs and a 12 volt, and then closes up. Pretty simple. And then we've got all of our drive modes right here. So we've got our rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, and then sport. And you basically just press the little shifter right there, and then that'll go into each of the different drive modes. This is the transmission select. It looks just beautiful. Look at the intricate design. Hopefully that pops up onto camera. It's kind of hard to see, but if you have a chance, look at one of these in person. It just looks really cool here with the overall casing and everything. And then this does have air suspension. This is just to raise and lower that air suspension. 4-wheel low, and then our hill descent control. And then got some cup holders right here. Finishing things off, we've got the center console, really deep. And, well, we'll close that all up, but that's that whole area. I want to mention we've got beautiful leather and stitching here all over the dash as well. And just look at the design here. Obviously, we got the leather, but just look how it all flows together here with all of the different lines. Looks really good. And then can see the glove box right there. And then finishing things up here at the very top, we do have a full panoramic sunroof here. Controls for the sunroof are just right here in the center. We've got the light controls, that's for the rear hatch. All black headliner, that's all for the top. So sorry there's quite a bit of glare, but hopefully you guys can at least kind of see the window sticker a little bit here. Yeah, kind of hard. But anyways, total MSRP is $61,975. And wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Let's take the Summit out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Grand Cherokee L. So there's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, they do have blind spot. And then throughout the rest of the rear, and gosh, I love that dial shifter. Let's set off. Well, we are setting off here on the Grand Cherokee L Summit, and first off, let's talk about how it drives. So from a ride quality standpoint, it's very smooth and it's really quiet as well. They've done a really good job with making this cabin very well insulated, and it definitely feels like a luxury car from a ride quality perspective, but then also from a noise insulation perspective as well. I really like the handling with the Grand Cherokee L as well. The steering is very direct, but it's really light and effortless, and it just definitely, like, it stays nice and planted, and it just gives you a really good driving experience. And I mean, I love the driving experience with this Summit so far, because guess what? I've got the air conditioned seat on, I've got the massage function on, and you know what? I am living my best life right now. I will say that. Yeah, this is definitely a bigger size SUV, but turn-in is great. It doesn't feel all that big, so that's definitely a huge plus. And then we'll pop it over into the sport mode. and it'll actually adjust the suspension, ride height, and all that depending on what drive mode you're in, which is definitely a huge plus. We'll get our full-blown acceleration here. So it wasn't even the right gear right there, and yeah, it's really good from an acceleration standpoint. It definitely does keep it in a lower gear when you go in the sport mode. I'll pop it back into auto because most of the time you're driving this, you're just gonna have it in the auto drive mode. So it does everything for you, and it's actually raising it up with the air suspension. That's so cool that it does that, right? It'll hunker down for the sport mode so you can get a little bit better handling and everything. But yeah, overall, definitely great from a driving experience perspective. And that'll actually get me into summing things up with this Summit. Haha, see what I did there? So exterior wise, I love the new Grand Cherokee L. It has so much road presence. It looks great from every angle. It just has this like large kind of like in charge type look from an aesthetic perspective. And then interior wise, this interior is amazing. Like, just everything's covered in leather. You've got nice leather on the dash, really nice, beautiful seats with a really beautiful quilted design, just so much. And on top of that, it's really affordable. Yes, I know $61,000 is a lot, but you're getting a 3-row luxury SUV for $61,000 that has an interior that's this nice, that drives this nice, that has tons of tech, massaging seats as well. Like, it has so much for the money, and it's just crazy. Like, to get this type of experience, you typically have to pay at least 50%, if not 100% more than what this costs. And so it's just such a bargain. And it's not like it's I know that some people like always have like kind of like a negative connotation with the word bargain, but that's not always the truth. You just get so much for the money, and I just expect this to be more expensive than it is. Jeep has just knocked it out of the park with this new Grand Cherokee L and this Summit package. I mean, it is just, it's phenomenal. I mean, everything about this just screams luxury, except for the price. That's going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Summit. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Grand Cherokee L. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.